Let's talk about innovation more generally. I mean, Switzerland, as you certainly must know, is ranked number one in the world in innovation and has been, I think, every year for the past 10 years,
15
right?
years, yes.
15 even. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So it's got this unbeaten record of innovation. What, in your view, I mean, you see innovation from a perspective that most people don't. What, in your view, is it that makes Switzerland so high ranked in terms of how it compares with other countries?
I think one has to look at the structure of the Swiss R&D.
Right.
Switzerland invests overall about 26 billion in research and development within the country. I'm not talking about the investment from Nestlé abroad or Novartis, but just what is invested within our borders. It's about 26 billion.
But that's also from private companies and also government, or
30% of it is public funding.
Okay.
70%, or about 18 billion, is purely industry funding.
Yes, right.
Out of that, 18 billion, 75% is coming from multinationals. So the big companies, the Roche, Novartis, ABB, Nestlé, and the other line.
Right.
So we have a very high concentration of multinationals in Switzerland.
Yes, right.
And I think this is really the backbone of our R&D setup, which leads to a large number of IP publications, or publications. That's more, of course, the academic centers, ETH, EPFL doing great job, and all the other partners in that field. So I think Switzerland has a high density of multinationals, which is then reflected somehow in the output.
Yeah.
And of course, we invest a lot in education. We have a really good basis for that.
Yeah.
Now, what we have to keep in mind is that this ranking reflects what we have been invested in the past, right? Because what you invest in education, in basic research, in applied research, in innovation, takes 10, 15, sometimes 20 years to bear fruit.
Yeah, right.
So we are looking at the past in terms of investments. And I always like this quote from Andy Grove, one of the key CEO at Intel in the 80s, 90s. And he would say, success breeds complacency, complacency breeds failure, only the paranoid survive. And I think we have to somehow keep that in mind because, yes, we have been number one for the last 15 years, but the ranking in 10, 15 years will depend on how we invest today.
Today, yes.
And if you look at the competition in that list, you have, of course, US number 3, you have South Korea number 4, you have Singapore, and for the first time, you have China number 10. They were nowhere to be seen on this ranking 20 years ago.
Right.
Year after year, they've been progressing.
Yeah.
So some companies are investing heavily in innovation. And Switzerland, if we want in 10, 15 years to be still ahead, we also need to be paying attention to this huge trend. Because in the end, technology is having, as we all know, a major impact on society.
Sure.
And there is an acceleration of that.
Right.
There is a convergence between software, hardware, embedded software.
Right.
All of that is really a lever for the new digital economy in which we are.
This episode is brought to you by Swissquote. In a world of economic uncertainty, having full visibility and control over your finances matters more than ever. Swissquote is Switzerland's leading digital bank, combining everyday banking with advanced trading and investment solutions. So whether you're investing in stocks, ETFs, crypto, or just looking to actively manage your portfolio, Swissquote offers powerful tools, transparent pricing, and the security of a fully regulated Swiss bank. Discover more now at swissquote.com. And I guess you're monitoring that, right? Is the R&D spending continuing to rise, or?
So if we look,
Any alarm bells ringing?
It's a political decision.
Yeah.
So as you know, there has been a number of discussions over the last couple of years, and the parliament has to make decisions where the money is allocated, and it's certainly a very difficult job, between defense requirements and agriculture and others.
Right.
And if I just look at spending in innovation, there is still an increase, but just this increase has been slowed down quite a bit. So instead of having a regular 3% or more increase, it's been cut to much lower levels.
Okay.
So I wouldn't say they are big cuts, but depending on where you look, like in the ETH domain or so, they have seen pretty large cuts.
What about
which is not good longer term?
Right.
You get to this notion of it takes so long to train a good engineer, in ship design, and then to have him really contribute to society.
Yeah.
The cycle is huge.
Yeah.
And therefore, whatever we invest today will bear fruit in 10, 15 years.
Right.
If we're complacent today,
yeah,
in 15 years, we'll be suffering. And these rankings are not, static.
Sure.
But there is no physical law of business saying that Switzerland should be number one.
No guarantee that it stays number one.
Intel was number one at the time when Andy Grove made his famous quote.
Yeah, right.
Intel today is just a shadow of what it used to be.
That's right.
So therefore, allocation of investments, has a big impact longer term.
Are you able to keep track of private sector investment in R&D too?
Yeah, so if you look, this is published, you have statistics.
Yep, right.
It keeps still increasing. However, it's a bit of the tree hiding the forest if you're not careful, because the multinationals I mentioned earlier, the Schindler and all the others, are investing more. So overall, the R&D spending in Switzerland keeps increasing. That's all good, and we welcome that. But if you look at the SMEs and the number of companies active in R&D in Switzerland, it's going down. So there are less and less companies investing in R&D or having R&D teams, but those who do invest more.
Okay.
So it's a bit of a concentration of innovation within fewer companies.
Right.
And the trend is not so good. So I really hope that we're able to sustain and to support those SMEs.
Yeah.
And one has to understand that is really hard for them. If you look over the last 6 years, we have had to go through the COVID, the shakedown with the Russian invasion of Ukraine. You had the energy crisis, the supply chain crisis, you had the tariffs.
Yep.
And for large international companies, when you have the tariffs, maybe, it's hard, but you can reallocate, your products.
Possibly, right.
If you're an SME,
you're
producing
vulnerable.
It's really hard to manage. So all the attention given to these different events was taken away from R&D on the one hand. Secondly, there is also a complication of R&D. You used to make a product like a machinery. You had to master, electronics, mechanics, put all that together, the process. It was hard, but at least that's what the companies have been doing for a long time.
Yeah.
Nowadays, you need to add, specialty, quality control system. You need to add digital services. You need to have data going in the cloud. You need to have cybersecurity of your. Now you need to have AI.
Yeah.
And then you have sustainability requirements, and all that is supporting the fact that more and more companies are relying on partners. And CSC, one of them, of course, and not doing everything internally because it's just not possible. You take a machine you need to connect. There are so many aspects you need to master. From the software, as I mentioned, security, the data handling, and all that.
Right.
It takes 10, 15 different skills.
Yeah.
And as an SME, it's really hard.
New skills. Yeah.
So you need to hire, you need to find the guys.
Yes.
You need to hire them.
Right.
You need to retain them.
Right.
Meaning that you need to have exciting projects. Otherwise, they will join another company.
Right.
And this is really critical for a company of 50 to 200 people.
Yeah.
So they focus on their core activities that they know well, that they've been doing for the last, 30 years.
Right.
And then for the very specific elements, they would find partners. And we can help some of them. And that's one trend that we see, that more and more companies cannot master all the different technologies we have and just need to focus on their core business
Sure.
and work with others for the rest.
Makes sense.